Hello and welcome to Multifamily Investing with Bob Biggins. I'm Bob Biggins, and today we're going to talk about confidence. More specifically, confidence in multifamily investing, episode 33. In July of this year, I went to a Grant Cardone conference out in Phoenix, and he said you need 5 things for a multifamily deal: deal, debt, equity, network, and confidence. Number 5, confidence. I easily have all 4. I can generally find some deals and I can get debt, I can pull together equity, and I've got a great network of subcontractors and other people I can lean on. But I was kind of lacking the confidence to take down a big deal. And this is maybe a few years ago. I had a few big deals that were pitched to me, and I was not able to capitalize on them. And I think deep down it was because I just did not have the confidence to do so. Confidence, according to Webster's dictionary, is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. The state of feeling certain about the truth of something. So the truth is what you look in the mirror and talk to yourself about, if you do that. Are you confident in yourself, confident in your ability to take down a big deal? Now, a big deal is different for everyone. For the start-out investor, a big deal may be a $200,000 duplex. It may be a 4-unit. I learned when I was at Grant's conference, for him, a big deal is about a 780 unit that he was looking for in the Chicago area, a huge skyscraper. So it's a big deal is relative, or a multifamily deal is relative to everybody. But let's first look at the anatomy of confidence. That's confidence in the deal itself, the asset, the purchase, the land, the bricks, whatever. So you really want to be confident in your underwriting first and foremost. First thing with your underwriting, your rents. That's your revenue source. One of your revenue sources, but probably 90, 95% of your revenue source. Are the rents that you're looking at on this particular asset, are they at market? Are they below market? Are they even above market? Is there room to grow? Based on the price, is it a good deal based on the current rents? Or do the rents need to grow 10% in order to make it a good deal? And you have the bandwidth to take that on and intestinal fortitude to raise those rents accordingly to make the deal a good deal. The better you know the market, the more confident you're going to be in your deal. And rents being the number one facet of any multifamily deal, which is the revenue source, that's the first thing to drive confidence, is the market, knowing the market of the rental values and the other associated revenue sources, such as laundry and parking and those other things that are other revenue sources. Another thing is expenses, obviously. What is the going rate for gas bills in your area? What are the water bills? Because we're on Lake Michigan, and thank goodness our water rates are quite inexpensive in my market. Now, go 20 miles down the road where we just bought an asset at, and that's 20 miles further away from Lake Michigan, 20 miles further away from a processing plant, and it definitely is more expensive. The rates are more expensive, the sewer's more expensive. And so the more you know about your markets, the better off you're going to be, and the more confident you're going to be in your underwriting ability to take that deal down. That is the technical meat and potatoes of taking that deal down. Categories of consideration. Good example here is the asset we took down last summer, the 14 unit. It didn't have city water. It was the first place I bought that didn't have city sewer. And so I learned quickly that we have 4 septic tanks. Every septic tank is $350 per pump. You pump them out every 6 months to ensure a smooth flowing system. So that's quickly $2,800 in a year. And water softeners. We had to procure new water softeners, and we financed them over time. There's another couple $100 a month. And salt, another $100 a month. And water and electric for the well pump and maintaining the well. Grand total, these come out to probably $6,000 or $7,000 in a year. And when I was talking to the previous property manager, and actually to the residents at the property, they said, "Well, why would we be charged for water? Water's free." Well, water's really not free to me as the landowner, as the property owner. But if you don't know that, so if you don't know that category of expense to consider, you could make a good deal, a really bad deal really fast. So you really want to dig in and know all of the line items on a T12 or a P&L that you would get from a seller, and go through that with a fine-tooth comb. How's the physical condition of the property? The brickwork, the windows, the doors, the roof. The more confidence you have in your, I don't want to say construction ability, but your ability to see issues on a property, both good and bad, that's going to give you more confidence in taking down that deal. Are the windows old? Do the doors have gaps? Are the thresholds, gaps under the threshold of the door? Are the floors in decent shape? Are they sloping? How's the parking lot? How are the roofs? You can almost look at a roof and say, that's got 10 years left in it, I'd say, 10 or 12, or it's only got 1 or 2, or that's a brand spanking new roof, and here is the building permit that was pulled in order to get that roof put on, and it's been stripped, and you learn all that stuff. So the more you can learn about the physical location or the physical condition of the property and just learn it, or at least have people on your team that know it very well, the better off you're going to be and the more confidence that's going to drive in your deal making ability. Occupancy. Say you're buying a place and it's 85% occupied. That's not too good. Why is it not occupied at 95%, which is about the standard, gold standard? Because 95 means your rents aren't too low to where there's 100% occupancy, but they're not too high where there's worse than 95% occupancy. So if you're at 85, that's either your rents are quite high for the units that you do have, or you've got problems and your building's not in good shape, your tenant mix is not what other people want to live next to, your area, your location, maybe noisy there, could be a bad area of town with drugs and other things like that. So definitely pay attention to your occupancy. You're going in occupancy on a deal when you're evaluating it and underwriting it, because that's going to tell the story. It's going to tell a good story or a not so good story based on how the property is doing. And location. That ties right in with occupancy. You could maybe have quite high rents if their property is right on the water, and you may have 10% vacancy because there's a select number of people who can afford to live that way, but you're getting a very good dollar on the water, for example. So those are some of the things you need to think of in the physical deal, the confidence in your deal making ability with the asset itself. Now, next, we're going to move on to confidence in yourself, confidence in your deal making abilities, confidence inside of you. Jake and Gino, or I'm sorry, Rod Khleif rather, he calls it the confidence muscle. You build muscle when you're working out, and this is a confidence muscle, more or less. The more that you feel confident, assured in your ability to take down these deals, the more confidence in your, it's a slang term, a confidence muscle gets built up, gets stronger and stronger with every deal you take on and take down. Well, how do you gain that confidence muscle? In my opinion, I think it comes from your team, the team that you've built around you, your infrastructure, your softwares, your maintenance people, your handy people, your rent collections, your advertising, all the different people within your sphere builds your confidence up, because if you're going to take down a deal and you don't have the right people in place, you could easily fail if you're managing your own property. Now, I primarily talk about that in these videos because that's what we do. We self-manage, and I have never had a situation where I've had outside management, but I've heard a lot of stories from outside people who have had outside management, and we've bought deals that were managed by outside managers, and a lot of times they're not so great. They're not maintained, because who's going to take better care of your asset, you or a property manager? I would say you. So again, building your team and having a strong infrastructure. For example, Ken McElroy says to invest in assets. Don't chase the money, invest in assets. You can invest in assets by investing in your team, having a very good, strong team behind you, because you can't do it yourself. You got to have a solid base of people around you, help take down these deals and be confident in your own personal deal making ability, because without them, you could very well be biting off more than you can chew. And that's obviously what everyone fears. Now, if you asset manage, meaning you're hiring a property manager, there are good property managers out there. You have to look hard for them, but you can find them. But you got to pay them. But you'd be an asset manager, meaning you manage the property manager. Do you meet with them once a week? Are you out of town? Are they remote? Are you in the same zip code as them? Are you guys meeting at the property? Are you walking the property? Are you walking the property with them? Are you having a Zoom call if you're out of town? How often? Every week, every quarter, every 2 weeks? I would submit at least once a week, and then maybe even once a week on other things like rent collections or maintenance or whatever. Roll that right into your initial contract going in. But, well, how do you gain confidence if you don't have any in multifamily? Well, depending on the deal size, you can find a mentor. You can hire mentors. They can run anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 to hire a mentor. I know it's very expensive and very crazy. If you're working in small to mid-range multifamily and you're dealing with the MLS, feel free to reach out to Biggins team, my wife and I. We both have our specialties and our strong suits, and we are very happy to bring on clients that are looking to purchase multifamilies, or if they want to sell multifamily, we can easily put together a very good offering memorandum and package for them to sell their property. And we've done so quite successfully over the years. Network with another way to gain some confidence, if you don't have it going into the deal, is to improve your professional network, such as network with insurance agents, lenders. Lenders are a big one. You should probably get 3 to 5 quotes for every deal you're taking down, because rates will change oftentimes based on what market a bank is in. It may be high time where a bank is going to lend more aggressively, and it may be a low time where the market's not as good and they're going to be lending more conservatively. So different banks have different lending standards based on just the time of the just what level of the cycle, the real estate cycle they're in, or the Fed rate cycle, or whatever cycle they're looking at. So that is definitely one. Hiring technical services, network with plumbers, electricians, HVAC people, if you can. And ideally, you have a friend who's one, and they'll work for you and be able to put you head of a list. Oftentimes, it's hard to just get on a list of professional services. So you want to discuss with them and network with them before you need them, because when you need them, sometimes it's pretty urgent. And if you can't get somebody urgent, that makes your confidence very low, because you're in a bad position and you can't take care of the problems and take care of the residents that are in some type of situation, heat out in the middle of winter or something like that. And last but not least, take action. Jake and Gino call it MIH, make it happen. And I really like that, because We can theorize and network and learn and read and evaluate, but there's no substitute for taking down a deal. And you may stub your toe, you may scratch your knee, you may lose money for the first 6 months to a year. But eventually, that deal is going to pan out for you. Time cures all wounds in real estate. For example, I decided I'd take a look at property values from 1950 to current. And I had AI run a nice evaluation for me. And from 1950 to 1960, and mind you, in 1950, average housing prices start out at, you guessed it, $7,300, $7,354, $7,300, $7,000 to buy a house in 1950. And today, the median price is $402,000. So I went by decade, from 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 1990 to 2000, 2010 to 20, and so on. And the lowest 10-year increase was 60 to 70, and that was 43% increase. But the highest, because of inflation, was 1970 to 1980, 177% increase in home values at that time. Well, if you annualize out from 2020 to 25 and then take that number to say 2030, it's 77.5% on average. So if you buy a property and you're worried and you buy it wrong, or you pay too much for a deal, you're going to gain 70 to 75, 80% on average in 10-year period. So if you buy a property, say you buy a $500,000 asset and you feel that I bought it wrong, I paid too much, rents weren't high enough to support the values and what I have going on, just think of that 77% increase in 10 years. Okay, where are you going to be in 10 years? Well, let's say you did an 80-20 mortgage, $500,000, you took out $400,000. So you got a $400,000 mortgage, and in 10 years, that $500,000 property went up to $850,000. Where $400,000 mortgage went down to $300,000. So in 10 years, your property's worth $850,000, your mortgage is $300,000. So you have just gained, just from managing that property, $500,000, $550,000 in 10 years in equity. If you were to turn around and sell that property, if you kept it up and you kept it to market rents and so on. So don't think short term about a deal that's not exactly perfect. Think long term of getting on board with an asset and having the confidence to do so. Because without the confidence, without taking down a deal, you could be here a year from now with no deal. And those 10-year time periods, you just ate away at that 1 year that, if you owned an asset, would all of a sudden start making that profitable. So by foregoing a deal, oftentimes, if it's not the perfect deal, because you're never going to find the perfect deal, you're going to find some things that are maybe not the best, some things that are better, some things that are worse. You just have the confidence to move forward and take the deal down. So you got to take action. So that is my talk on confidence in multifamily investing. I appreciate your time. I understand that your time is very valuable, and you've just spent some time with me listening to my discussion on the confidence topic. Reach out to bigginsteam.com, and you'll have all of our websites, my YouTube channel there, and all of our listings and all the things that hopefully we can help you on. So reach out at any point. We'd be happy to work on your confidence and get you going on your first multifamily investment. Bob Biggins, signing off.